Lord Brahma to be equal or to be independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Third, to disobey the order of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6, to give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in Vedas as fruitive activity, Karma Kanda. 9, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10, to not have a complete faith in chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachment even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining today's Bhakti Sangha Japa conference. May I know who all joined this morning?
हरे कृष्णा विनीता गंधर्विका माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय प्रीतिदासी को स्वागत हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, Priti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining every day and giving your sweet association. Welcome to the call.
हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Arvindaksh Das from Chicago. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Arvindaksha Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for joining and giving your association every day and announcing your name every day, second Prabhuji. Very nice. Hare Krishna, is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, all glories Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharajis. My humble obeisance is to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devidasi from Radha.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and blessing all of us. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the assembled devotees. This is Indulekha Karna Devi Dasi from Lincoln. Hare Krishna.
Indulekha Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your sweet association. All glories to your wonderful services. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and all glories to the assembled devotees. This is Tiffany in Pennsylvania. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Tiffany Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nice to hear your sweet voice again, Mataji. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. This is Shama Gauri Devdasi from Charlotte.
Hare Krishna, Shama Gauri Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and all glories to your wonderful services. Welcome to the call. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, all glories to Radha Madhva. Please accept my humble obeisance to you and respect to Zoom devotees. I am Charana Lakshmi from Malaysia. Thank you very much and Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Charana Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining every day and asking wonderful questions and nice realizations you always have, Mataji. Welcome to the call.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Is there anybody who would like to introduce themselves? Please go ahead. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhu to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 15th chapter, 7th verse. Before we hand over it call to the Prabhuji, I request Raj Prabhu, please take over from here and give a brief introduction.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat Pranam to you and all the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Shri Guru and Gauranga. Here's a brief introduction for our very dear speaker, His Grace Sukumar Gaur Prabhuji. Prabhuji came in touch with devotees of ISKCON in 2003. Prabhuji found his questions answered in the books of Srila Prabhupada. As a student of MBA Finance, he studied Srila Prabhupada's books and became a sincere practitioner. He took up a job with NCDE Mumbai, but soon took on a 2-year brahmachari training course at Sri Sri Radha Gopinath Temple, Mumbai, and was initiated into Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj in 2010. Prabhuji served in the youth preaching department, but he found his true joy in sharing Krishna consciousness with the youth. So he gave up his job and decided to guide the youth by helping them understand the message of Bhagavad Gita. He joined ISKCON Chopati as a resident in 2009. Later, he was posted to ISKCON Nasik Temple, where he is serving as a youth counselor. Prabhu conducts seminars on personality development in educational and corporate sectors. This is a very brief introduction for Prabhuji, but he has many services. Over to you, Mataji. Dhanavad.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you for that brief introduction. Hare Krishna, Sukumar, Gaur, Prabhuji. Are you there? Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for joining and giving your valuable time and association this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 6th canto, 15th chapter, 7th verse, Prabhuji. Please take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, can you all hear me, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Can
Oh, but
you hear? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay, Mataji?
But I see little bit your signal is having a red sign, Prabhu. I don't know. When you are speaking, it's okay. But then you said when it is okay, then again I was feeling there is a signal issue here.
Just a moment.
See it on the screen.
Give me one minute. Now is it okay, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, we can hear you clear.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. So, yeah. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshakare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram. I'll just close the curtains. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 15 and text number 7. Yeah. Dehena dehino rajan deha deho vijayate bijad eva yatha bijam deyartha iva shashvata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. As from one seed, another seed is generated, O King. So from one body, the body of the father, through another body, the body of the mother, a third body is generated, the body of a son. As the elements of the material body are eternal, the living entity who appears through this material element is also eternal. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. From Bhagavad Gita, we understand that there are two energies, namely the superior energy and inferior energy. Inferior energy consists of the 5 gross and 3 subtle elements. The living entity who represents the superior energy appears in different types of bodies through these elements by the manipulation or supervision of the material energy. Actually, both the material and spiritual energies, matter and spirit, exist eternally as the potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a very important point here. The potent entity is the Supreme Person. The potent entity is the Supreme Person. Since the spiritual energy, the living being who is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, desires to enjoy this material world, the Lord gives him a chance to accept different types of material bodies and enjoy or suffer in different material conditions. Actually, the spiritual energy, the living entity who desires to enjoy material thing is manipulated by the Supreme Lord. The so-called father and mother have nothing to do with the living entity. As a result of his own choice and karma, the living being takes different bodies through the agency of so-called father and mother. Hare Krishna. So we welcome all devotees for this Srimad Bhagavatam class. This is a very important chapter which we are dealing. This is the chapter where the Saint Narada and Angira will now instruct King Chitraketu. This shloka in itself is a very powerful shloka, and purport given by Srila Prabhupada is even more to the point, bringing the essence of the Shastras in just a small purport. If you see the shloka, Dehena, the body, Dehina, the father who also possesses a material body, Dehat, now that father will place his energy in somebody else's Deha, so it is called Dehat, the body of the mother. And then from that, another Deha, the body of the child, Abhijayate, is born. Now, this is explained by example. Eva, like, just like, Yatha Eva, just like. And certainly, it is certainly, this is certainly means it is like a law. Okay, this is seen generally here in this world. Bijad bijam, just like when we place one seed in the soil, from that one seed the tree grows, then the tree has fruits, and the fruits will bear even more seeds. So bijad bijam, just like from one seed we get so many seeds, so from these two people we get a son or a daughter. And how are these elements? Which two elements? Dehi, the person who has accepted the material body, and Artha, and he feels purpose, that by these elements I'll be able to be happy, I'll be able to enjoy this place. So it is called Artha, the material elements. So the Dehi, the person who holds the material elements and the material elements themselves are Shashvata, they are eternal. So Prabhupada writes in the translation, as from one seed, another seed is generated. From two bodies, the seed is given by the father, and that seed is placed in the mother's body, and from the mother's body, third body generated, whom we call as a son or daughter. And then Prabhupada says, as the elements of the material body are eternal, the living entity who desires to enjoy this material element is also eternal. Now, seemingly this shloka may seem very simple, as to only some things are mentioned. But when we read Srila Prabhupada's purports very clearly, we'll come to an understanding that this has so many deep insights that are given in this shloka. So this shloka, it is showing that how this material world functions. The very fact that this shloka gives the example of the seed. First seed has to be available, and then the other seed will come into place. So the point is of dependency. We are dependent from start to end. For birth, we need parents. When we die, to cremate, we need somebody. And from the time we give up the body till the time we reach the next destination, we need certain help. Okay, that is why in first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna speaks about all the Spindadan and the rituals and the sacrifices that are done for the upliftment of the soul. So from start to end, we are dependent. This very fact of dependency has to be highlighted every now and then, because somewhere this thought that I am independent and I don't need anybody is in itself very harming. Okay, so even to come to existence in this world, we have to depend on two people called mother and father. Okay, it's not only about dependency. Prabhupada will has focused on this point of cooperation between two of them. When these two people cooperate with each other, then the third person will come into existence. Otherwise, there is no scope for the third person to come into existence. And Srila Prabhupada at the start of his very purport is mentioning about Bhagavad Gita. So in Gita 3.10, we see this very famous shloka which Prabhupada usually always spoke about. This is Sahayagya Praja Srishtva Puro. Pura means previously, from the time when the Srishtva, the creation took place. Uvacha Prajapati. Somebody spoke to the Prajapati or the Prajapati. The first Prajapati is Lord Brahma. So the first Prajapati, Uvacha, he spoke. Anena Prasavishyadvam. Prasavishyadvam is to become more and more prosperous while we stay here in this world is possible. Eshuvo Ishtakamaduk. So at the start of the creation, he has created Yajna. What is the purpose of the Yajna? It is Prasavishyadvam, to become more and more prosperous. And that Yajna will become Ishtakamaduk. It will be like a cow who can fulfill all its desires. Kamaduk. Kama desires. So in the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures means Brahmaji. He sent for generation of men and demigod. But how did he do that? He sent it along with the sacrifice for Vishnu. And while giving them this instruction, he said, by doing this yajna, all your desires will be fulfilled. You will become more and more prosperous. And not only that, after enjoying it in a proper way, okay, enjoying it in a proper way, you will be able to stay happily here. And after you are satisfied, you can get out of this world, which we call as liberation. Achieving liberation is also through yajna. Okay, so yajna means there is a purificatory process that comes into picture. The immediate next shloka 3.11. Now, just like here in the shloka, it is said that Sahayagya Praja. Praja is not only people. Praja includes demigods, Praja includes pitras, Praja includes animals, Praja includes birds, trees. The entire creation that exists here comes under the purview of Praja. Okay, and there is hierarchy of who will handle this Praja in what way. The demigods, then there are superior demigods, then Brahmaji, then Lord Shiva, and then Lord Vishnu. So this is the hierarchy that is given. So in the 11th shloka, he says, how will this Praja deal with each other? Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantuha parasparam. This word is very, very important. And Prabhupada translates parasparam as mutually. So what they should do mutually? Bhavayantaha. They should mutually please each other. Okay, bhavayanta is pleasing. So parasparam bhavayanta means they have to mutually please each other. So just like the previous example, Prabhupada says that two people come together and that the third person is born. So when there is mutual pleasing of husband and wife, so it's not that only husband should please wife or wife should please husband, then the third person will. No, there is mutually pleasing each other. So same thing that happens here is in the praja. So the praja means the demigods and humans. Now why the animals are not considered here when it comes to parasparam? Because the animals are dependent on humans. So when humans are said, it automatically includes consideration of animal, trees, and the lower species. So when there is parasparam bhavayanta, then there is shreya param, then there is supreme benediction, avapsyati. You will achieve supreme benediction, means you will achieve the ultimate goal of life. But how? Even if somebody wants to get out of this material world, or if somebody has to come to this material world, it is parasparam bhavayanti. He has to depend. That mutual dependence is the law here, and it is the law there in the spiritual world as well. So this aspect of parasparam bhavayanta, mutually pleasing each other, is very, very crucial and has to be very properly understood. And that is how life is designed here. Okay. Now, nobody here can say that I don't need anybody. Why? Because just like we saw in this 11th shloka, the world is designed here, which is based on mutual cooperation. Means both parties need each other. Just like when we go to a bank, the bank is called as cooperative bank. Cooperative means customer needs the bank, bank needs the customer. They're interdependent on each other. Now, coming to Srila Prabhupada's purport. Now, in the purport, Prabhupada focuses on two main points, and we'll be elaborating on these 2 points, which are very, very important for us to understand. Prabhupada is saying there are two energies which belong to the Supreme Lord, that is the Jiva and the material nature or the material elements. Now, what it means that it belongs to Sri Krishna, then Prabhupada explains this in one line. So one line, very powerful. I repeated it twice, that same line. Sri Krishna is the potent entity. Now, what it means that Sri Krishna is the potent entity? Potent means he has potency. Okay, he has some power in him. And this word potent comes from the Greek word possess. And what does possess in Greek mean? In Greek, it means husband. And that same possess in Sanskrit is known as pati, means husband. Okay. So if you see husband as a person, then even that person has two energies in himself. One is superior, one is inferior. The inferior energy of a man is his hairs, his nails, all the waste that comes out. It's the energy of his body that comes out in different forms. So that's the lower energy, which is separated from it. But at the same time, he has superior energy in him as well, just like voice he has, by which he speaks. And the top of all those energy is the semen, the virya, the power of that person. Now, virya only doesn't mean semen, it means actual translation is strength. And this strength can be used for various purposes. Just like in the entire body, this semen is very crucial element, because for seeing, for smelling, for tasting, every organ of the body will require this energy. And for females, it's a different energy. For men, it is a different energy. So this energy is required, and only then that creation will function. So similarly, this entire world we see is nothing but the expansion of Krishna's energy. It is the virya, the potency of the Supreme Lord. So even for a person to create a new being, that is happening through this energy, the strength of that person, that potency of that person. So Jiva is another potency or manifestation of the Supreme Lord's energy. Okay. Now, when a couple has a child, now as the child gradually grows, the child as he grows, he feels inquisitive about what my father has, how he lives, what he does. And at a point of time, he comes to understand that my father has a go down. And in that go down, he hears that there are so many things, but now the father doesn't use because it all scrap. But this child has that inquisitiveness that let me go and see the go down, what is there in the father's go down. And the child goes there and starts checking. But actually, it's all scrap because the father is not using it. It's all in the go down. And when he sees those things which he has not seen for the first time, he becomes highly attracted, because he feels, wow, this is something different which I actually don't see. But he doesn't understand that this is something which his father has scrapped out. He doesn't use it anymore. And then he is exploring all the things. He's going here, he's going there, he's seeing the dresses, he's seeing this, he's seeing so many things. And he feels that, oh, this is such a nice place, it is giving me so much of happiness, I'm able to explore so many things. But in reality, it's all old and useless. But for the child, it's new, and that is why he feels that he's enjoying it. But since that place is also dark, So in that place, you may find sometimes there are mosquitoes, there are bugs, there are some insect which come and keep on biting the child, and that is why he's suffering. One side is exploring, there is happy. Other on the other side, there are some bugs which are biting, and he is suffering because of that. So due to his exploration tendency, the child is now enjoying also and suffering. But the reason is the child's proclivity to explore. Okay, so this is the first point that Prabhupada highlights. Second point. Now Prabhupada mentions there is purport is highlighting this two times. So-called father and mother. Prabhupada is writing the so-called father and mother have nothing to do with the child. Just like Prabhupada used to give this example. If some person sees a car for the first time and he sees the car coming out of the tunnel, first time he's seeing a car and that car is coming out of the tunnel, he feels that this car must have been manufactured inside the tunnel. But one who has a knowledge, he realizes that the car is not manufactured in the tunnel. It was manufactured in a company, but this tunnel has just become a medium for the car to be seen in the world or seen on the road. Similarly, when the child is born, the parents are just a medium for him to appear. The child was never theirs and will never be theirs. This is the very strong point, but it has to be understood. Prabhupada is saying that the so-called father and mother has nothing to do with the child, because at no given point of time, the child will never belong to these fathers and this father and mother, the set of parents. Okay. Now, so this will raise another point. So if the child doesn't belong to the father and mother, so then why a specific child is born in a specific family? So Prabhupada writes this as a result of his own choice and karma. Just like it was the choice of the child to enter the Godown, now it is the choice and the previous karma of the living entity that he takes birth in a certain family through the agency of so-called father and mother. Okay. Now let's understand this karma concept. I'll quote a real story, a real life story. It is from this place where we stay. So there is one working professional here, quite good, well-to-do family. He has a son, and his son is around 30-35 years of age. Yeah, well-to-do family, husband, wife, and only one child. But the problem with this son is that he doesn't work at all. He just sits. He's whole day lazing around, doing nothing. At times, his mother, he even at times passes stool and urine in the bed, so his mother has to clean everything. And everything the mother has to do. Father is working whole day, and whole day mother is serving. And this has been going for such a long time now. So the mother said, I can't go anywhere. Father said, I can't go anywhere. Both are highly worried of what to do of this child. But since it is their child, they can't even leave the child. So they sought so many doctors, all each and every known treatment is done. Nothing working. Now somebody told them that there is a new method by which you can understand why this child behaves like this. So it is called as past life regression. Okay, in the past life regression, you put the child or the boy or girl in hypnosis. Hypnosis means the mind starts following the orders of the voice, external voice, and they go on to the previous times. So they thought, let's try this out, and they took him for the hypnosis, and then they started giving him instruction. He started speaking, then they started telling him, go to yesterday what happened, then last week, last month, last year. And gradually he is now saying that I am in the womb of my mother, and then previous to where he was before entering the womb of his mother. And then he enters the previous life, because all the data is recorded in our karana sharif, the body which stores all the impressions and experiences. And then he starts speaking about his previous life, and he starts speaking about his previous life. He starts saying that, oh, somebody is hitting me, somebody is beating me, somebody is torturing me. I'm working day in, day out, this, that, and I have no rest, no proper food. I'm constantly working, working, working. And someday, because of that excessive labor, he dies. So this is what he tells. And to the utter surprise of the parents, these parents were the same people for whom he was working as a servant. Okay, he worked for these two people in his past life. He was the servant at their place, and these two people made him work day in, day out, day in, day out. No mercy. Everything. Do this, do that, get this, get that. Everything. And because of that excessive labor, he left his body. Now, if the parents were told that you repay him for what you have done to him, they wouldn't have agreed. Now, nature is very clever. Now, what nature does when it sees that they have no attachment for this person, and law of nature is you have to pay equal and opposite. So now what nature will does to make them repay what they have got from him in his previous life, then what nature does is put the same child in that family again. And once that child comes through the agency of these parents, then what happens? There is excessive attachment. More payment left, more close relation, more attachment, more deep attachment. Less payment left from previous life, a far off relative, and less attachment. Now, being a son who is born from this couple, there is excessive and high level attachment for this child. So anything doing, you can't leave the child. Okay, because just because he's born from me, there is a natural attraction and attachment to the child. And this is what happened, that this child, law of nature made sure that every action has to be repaid by the parents. So last life they both enjoyed, in this life he is enjoying, does nothing, because nature has made him in such a way that they will have to repay each and everything that they have taken from him. And this is the same thing which the second shloka of this chapter says. Just like the two sages, Narad Muni and Angira Rishi, they ask Chitraketu Maharaj, who is he in relation to? The dead child. Because last chapter we saw the child is dead and Chitraketu Maharaj is lamenting, he falls unconscious. So they are asking him, who is this in relation to? Chitraketu Maharaj says, he is my son. Angira Rishi and Narad Muni say, yes, that is true. But what are you in relation to him? He says, when I say he is my son, I am his father. And they say, yes. In previous birth or now or in the next birth, who is who? Those who had a relationship with the son in previous birth, at death they were separated. From those sons, and in this present life, they are sons of the same person. In another life, they will become somebody else's son. So this is working on what? This is working on that law of karma. And this is what is called as parasparam bhavayanta, mutually pleasing or mutually reciprocating based on previous karma. Why I'm repeating all these things? Because I want to make a point that even that karma flows according to the past action, and according to the past action, there is pleasure or pain that is seen in the life of that person. Now, in the shloka, which we saw 3.11, the commentators write, all the relationship here are meant for service and not for enjoyment. Please understand, this is a very crucial point. We don't understand it. All relationships which are made here are meant for service and not for enjoyment. The main purpose of relation is, as per the relation, you serve that person, give him pleasure. Second thing, don't expect anything in return. Third thing, don't think that I deserve that he should also serve me because it is my right. No. Law of karma means law of give and take. There is a giver, there is a debtor. We all are debtors We have huge debt accumulated from past life. And only by serving those whom we are closely connected can we be freed from the debt. So all relationships that we see here are medium for us to release from this debt. And that is why in the third shloka, Prabhupada gives this, the analogy that is given here is like these sand particles meet together. They stay together for some time, give pleasure or rub with each other and give pain or pleasure. And then again they separate. But the point is either they come close, give pleasure, or have friction and give pain. So by living in this world, the understanding that I am a debtor and it's my duty to serve, and then only can I be released from the debts. Otherwise, releasing from the debt is very, very difficult. And as per the closeness of the relationship, we have to serve more or less. That means more close relation means I am highly dated. Far off relation means there is less debt which can be easily completed. Now, in this relationship, you have to understand there are 2 points. One is right, another is duty. And this has to be seen from different perspectives, from that person whom we are speaking about. For example, parents and kids or children. Serving parents is the duty of the son or daughter. And getting served is the right of the parents. Other rights becomes my duty. Now, this is from the parents' perspective. From children perspective, that same father and mother serving the kid becomes their duty. It's the right of the child. And all relationship issues begin with this point because the focus is more on rights rather than the duties or the responsibilities that come with that relationship. Why kids are, most of the time parents complain, he doesn't listen to me, because the child has been trained to think more about his rights rather than his responsibility. Immediately as the child cries, parents say, take this, take this. He thinks this is my right, I have to get this. If I don't get, I cry. And when I cry, my parents, oh, my child or my daughter, and this, that, and then the things continue. So what is the child getting trained in? Oh, this is my right, and that I means I have to have it. But at the same time, he also has to be trained on the other side, that is the responsibility, the duty part. And all this begins from where? If you read 6.8 and 6.9 of Bhagavad Gita, the advanced yogis' qualities are displayed. There is one shloka, 6.8, Sama Loshtra Ashma Kanchana. That he deals same with Loshtra, Ashma and Kanchan. Loshtra is a ball of mud. Ashma is small pebbles and gold, Kanchan. He sees them equally, but dealing is different. Okay, so that point has to be understood. Gold you will not throw anywhere. It is no use. No, gold has to be kept in locker. But what is he focusing on? He is focusing on the temporary nature, and that is why he can remain detached easily. But when the focus is not on the real property of that element, then attachment starts. Okay, and what is happening today is, just like Loshtra, Ashma, Kanchana, these are all matter. They don't have emotions of their own. Just like when I handle TV with a remote control, a mobile, or anything that is made up of matter, what happens is they don't respond to my good behavior or bad behavior. So what is the mindset that is generated in me? They are meant for my pleasure. I can behave any way I want with them, and they don't respond. Okay. And this is the mindset. The more you associate with matter, you think that matter is meant for my enjoyment because matter doesn't respond to your good or bad behavior. Now the child, see, most of the parents, they give mobile to their kids, and the child plays for hours together with the mobile. He's playing games, he's watching videos, and he thinks that this is meant for me. Parents are meant for me. Mobile is meant for me. This is for my enjoyment, and I can do as I want. Now, this is a very strong mindset that He is getting trained day in, day out by handling matter. Okay. Now the next shloka they'll say, it is okay, Baba, but there are 9 kind of animals or 9 kind of people whom you have to handle. Dveshi, Bandushu, Papeshu, all 9 kind of people. Now, when somebody gets trained up in matter, spending a lot of time with matter, and when that mindset is brought into the relationship or dealing with the outside world, which has 9 kind of people, if you start dealing thinking that everything is meant for me, for my enjoyment, then there is no scope for healthy relationship or a happy living. Because they are people, they have emotions, they may say yes, they may say no. You can use things and you feel I am in control. But when people start using things, you lose your confidence. Serious issue. So rights and responsibilities start from what? Handling matter. Previously, just like in Indian culture, previously, if you see where were the investment made, they were made in gold, they were made in land, they were made in some things which are tangible, like taking silver plates, metal equipments, cow, bull. Okay. Now, these things, when you buy a cow, you don't say, I'll sell it next year. No, when you buy a cow, you say, okay, for next 20 years now, no problem, because this cow will be. When you buy gold, you don't say, I'll sell it tomorrow. No, because when gold is thought, it will increase in price, I'll keep it for a long time. So handling even matter in which they used to come in contact was where the mindset is created, where it will stay for a long time. Today, what we have, everything is disposable. Disposable plates, disposable glasses, disposable tissue paper, disposable spoon. What is the mindset created? Use and throw. Relationship also use and throw because he's getting trained in that. So when karma comes into background, rights and responsibilities have to be trained parallelly. Now the question may arise, how do you remain detached then in this relationship? Let's go to chapter 4, 16, 17 number shloka. 16, 17, 18, 3 shlokas will take. Now 4.16 famous shlokas. All 3 shlokas are very famous. Kim karma, kim karmeti, kvayopi atra mohita. Satya karma pravakshami, yat jnatva moksha se ashubha. Now Krishna here is highlighting only on 2. Kim karma, kim akarma. If you understand karma and akarma, yat jnatva, if you understand them, jnatva is knowing. Moksha se ashubha, you will be freed, you will be moksha, liberated from all bad. Now actually we think that there are 3, karma, akarma and vikarma. But Krishna is saying kim karma, kim akarma, only 2. Why not third? Third will come in second shloka, 4.17. Karmano yapi bodhavyam cha vikarmana. Now third is coming here, vikarma. Karmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. So this gati of karma, the moment of karma is very difficult to understand. Now why didn't Krishna add vikarma in the 17th shloka, 16th shloka? Why he got it different? Because 16th shloka Krishna is mentioning moksha, mukti or liberation is possible when karma will turn to akarma. Okay, when karma will turn to akarma, then only mukti, moksha se ashubhat is possible. But when karma turns to vikarma, then there is bandhan. When karma turns to akarma, there is liberation or mukti. When karma turns to vikarma, there is bandhan. Now, how does all this start? See, desires are normal for anybody and everybody because we are not dead, we are not matter, we are living. So the kamna, that desire is very natural, normal. And when the level of this desire is natural, normal going, then the person will automatically perform karma, means permitted duty. But as the kamana, as the desires multiply and grow, then the person doesn't go to akarma, he'll directly shift to the karma because there are so many. And when the person, the kamana or the desires are sufficiently reduced, then he can peacefully start thinking of akarma. So the point is, how to reduce kamana? Prabhupada writes, we have to understand, not only understand and continuously focus. This is practice, this is study, this is sadhana. What is the sadhana? Understanding and focusing on the temporary nature of the relationships in the world. Just like Samaloshrashma Kanchana, he's handling things differently, but looking towards them is with the same perspective that there is start and end. Gold, sometime it has generated, at some time it will end. A piece of mud started, end. That pebble started, end. There is starting and end, but I don't have starting and end. I am eternal. So when the focus of that person is on the temporary nature, for him living that thing or releasing that hold becomes very easy. For example, just like we have one devotee, and he was sharing his experience. So he doesn't have deities at his home. He's a Grasta devotee, good friend of mine. So some devotee, he had to go for a long tour, almost like 3 months. So he had huge Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, very big size, very big size. So he asked him, would you like to take care of them for 3 months when I'm not here? He said, okay, it's my privilege. It's so nice. I'll be taking care of them. And every day used to dress them and nice bhoga, morning, evening, whatever was possible. Mataji would cook and serve, and every day kirtan and bhajan in the evening, because life-size deities, very big deities. I personally saw them when I was at his place. And after some time, it was known for him that Prabhuji will come after 3 months and I have to give back them Jagannath Baldev Subhadra. He was sharing, it was so difficult for me to give them. But I said, you should understand, it doesn't belong to you. They were always there. They just gave to you for some time. He said, yes. But what happened was, when you take care of somebody, you serve them, you start enjoying. That proclivity to enjoy is so natural. It is that when he was serving, he was enjoying the presence of the Lord. He was enjoying dressing them. He was enjoying serving them. And when there is enjoyment, then the second thing that enters the mind is they belong to me because I have served them for so long. And with this starts the painful process of losing that person or that thing or that place or that event. And same thing we bring in relationship. We had one new couple who came, and the lady lost a 16-year-old young son while he was playing cricket. She was shouting, she was not shouting, but she was crying, crying, crying. And it had already been 7 months the child had passed. 7 months. She was saying, I want the same child. I don't want anybody else. I don't want God. I don't want anything, nothing, nothing. The same child. I want the same looking child. And after that, they tried thrice to have a child. And they had an elder daughter who was 22 years old. What is the purpose? I took care of the child. I served him. So he belongs to me. How can God take that child away from me? That same mindset. See, that devotee who gave Jagannath Baldev Subhadra, he told him, you are caretaker, you are not proprietor. Similarly, when a child is born in a family, it is Krishna's property. There was never a time that we created that jiva. It is Krishna who created, because he is the only potent. He is the only potent person who can create something. And he shares that power to create with us on a material platform, not on spiritual platform. So in the relationship, we have to understand that we are here for a purpose. The purpose is clearing debt. Just like that lady didn't understand that the child had come to clear the debt he had. And when the debt was over, Krishna took him away. Abhimanyu had to be taken away because his father Somadev told that I want my child, as I can't stay away from my child more than 16 years. Not a single moment. Krishna said, okay, we'll send him back after. Exactly when Abhimanyu was 16 years old, Krishna took his help in establishing Dharma and sent him back to his father. So we have to understand that we are here to clear our debts, not to enjoy. So there are two moods: proprietor, enjoy; caretaker, duty. There is rights and there is responsibilities. There is proprietorship and there is caretaking. There is enjoyer propensity and there is duty bound propensity. More desire to enjoy that which doesn't belong to us, more is the probability that we start committing the karma. And when the desire to enjoy is accompanied by the doership mindset, that how can this happen to me, I put so much of hard work here, then that person is not able to understand the gahana karmanogati, that how karma works, he'll never be able to understand. But rather Krishna is saying, you try and understand. Krishna says it is gahan, but still at some point something you can understand what is to be done and what is not to be done. Even though it is gahana, it is difficult to understand. Krishna says, but still you try to understand. But why he is not able to? But the desire to enjoy is so strong. That doership mindset is so strong. He is not able to focus on the gahana karmanogati. And in the 18th sloka, Krishna says, Karmani akarmaya pashet akarmani cha karmaya sa buddhiman manusheshu sa yukta krishna karmakrit. Now Krishna is saying, seeing action in inaction and inaction in action. Karma in akarma and akarma in karma. Okay. Action in inaction means you are acting. Action in inaction. Externally he is acting, internally he is inactive. Means when he is acting, that action will not produce result. Why? Because the inner point is what? He doesn't expect results from that work. But this is for a person who has desires in his mind, which are still there. For him, working is important, so he keeps on working. So the proclivity to work is seen more when Krishna says action in inaction. On the contrary, inaction in action, it seems that the person is not acting in action, externally action, internally is acting. Why? Because he doesn't want to act, but he is acting. Why is acting? Because loka sangraham evapi sampashyan kartumarhasi, to set right example for the welfare of the general people. He doesn't want to act, but still is acting because the proclivity to act is secondary, is primary. But just for the welfare of the people, he acts. Just like Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan. He could have enjoyed his last days in Vrindavan and gone back home. But no, Prabhupada came out because the desire to serve the entire planet was very prominent. And that is why he was working. Internally, he is very peaceful. He doesn't need to work. But externally, it seems he's working. Why? Because for the welfare of the people, for such a person, there is nothing to be achieved, nothing more to be doing for. When there is achieving, then there is karma or work. When there is nothing to achieve, why will the person work? So achieving is connected to working. And when the person thinks nothing left to achieve, then why will he work? Nothing left to work also. Just like Srila Prabhupada in his final days, he was asked, Prabhupada, do you have any desire left? Prabhupada said, no, nothing left. Or koi ichha nahi. There is no more desire. Because anyways, he was always self-satisfied. He was constantly absorbed in Krishna. Now, when a person wants something, only and only when he feels that this person, this thing, this event, this article is very important for me, I need it, without it, I'll not be happy. Then this is called as Mahatva Buddhi. Mahatva Buddhi means he feels that this is very crucial for my survival. I cannot be happy with this. And when this becomes more and more prominent, he'll start working more and more harder. And as he works more and more harder, he will get more and more attached. And the same thing happens here with Chitraketu Maharaj. Last chapter we saw he's crying when the sages come, and when they see his pitiable condition, and they say, okay, we'll give you a son. Why? Because they saw that for him to function normally, the sun is very important. He is thinking there is Mahatva Buddhi in the sun. And wherever you keep your Mahatva Buddhi, you will work hard to achieve that. If you think chanting is very important, you will work hard for chanting. If you think earning money is very important, you will work hard for money, because there is Mahatva Buddhi in the mind, in the Buddhi. Whenever there is Mahatma Buddhi, only and only then the person will work hard. Otherwise, why will he work? Because there is no aspiration to work. Because he doesn't feel it is not important. If somebody is happy having a simple Samsung phone, He will not go behind iPhone. But those who think, no, having iPhone is very crucial in life, he will work day in, day out, and then have that iPhone of 1.5 lakh rupees. For somebody, it may be a position in the organization. For somebody, it may be a post in the spiritual organization. Oh, when I become GBC, then I'll be happy. When I become Guru, then I'll be happy. That is Mahatva Buddhi, paramount importance. Then only a person works hard. And more hard he works, when the thing is lost, more pain is created. Getting is one thing, losing is even far more painful. And the same thing, fourth shloka, in this chapter, fourth shloka. Chitraketu Maharaj says, I may or may not be his father or his son in this birth or another birth. This is the question answer that is going on. When the question answer is going on, he says, well, stop it. Now, please tell me what was my fault that I had to go through such huge suffering, that I had to lose my only son, who was the object of my affection. And the sages say, it is not your offense. It was the action of the time, the kala. Now, the king says, but for a long time, don't you understand? For a long time, I didn't have a son. And in my old age, I got a son, but he died. Now, what kind of suffering is this? This is huge pain I am going through. Then this example is given, that among the grains, some seeds produce grains and some don't. Some get destroyed. Same thing, amongst fathers, some are able to produce sons, some are not able to produce sons. Just like today, during noontime, one couple came and they already have two very, very sweet looking daughters. Very sweet. That lady, you won't believe, now they are a joint family because it's India and we still have joint. It's a very good thing. But her husband's brother has a son, and this lady has both daughters. Now, for her, not having a son is so painful, because her husband's brother and his wife, they feel, it is not reality, but they feel that they are given more prominence to the family because they have a son. So that lady is already 40 years or 42 years of age. She right now is going through treatment of tuberculosis for her uterus. And still on the other side, she's taking treatment to have a son. Can you imagine this? But they don't understand, just like here, the example of the grain, there are some grains which are potent, there are some grains which are not potent. Similarly, there are some fathers which have the potency to produce a son or a daughter, and some don't. And they don't even understand that that son or daughter doesn't have any relationship with them. And they're lamenting, oh, no son, no daughter, no this, no that. So what is the word that is used? Dhana. Dhana has two meanings. One, dhan is roasted grains. When you roast the grains, it will not produce anything. And dhana is also called a lady who cannot produce a child. And the child is only produced when a person has karma. And Angira Rishi tells him that you don't have the required karma to have a child. Because everything is based on karma. And then Angira Rishi reveals in the fourth shloka, just to bring you to this point of pain when you would be ready to hear the philosophy. I, Angira Rishi, became your son through the influence of Maya. So that Harsha Shoka was nobody other than whom? He was Angira Rishi, who came as a son, just to give him some relief and bring him to the point where he could understand the reality. So just like the husband is powerful, he can create something. So there is only one person who can change the karma or who can produce something, is Lord Krishna. No other male of this world can do. He is only bringing what Krishna has produced to this world. They are just a medium to facilitate the karma or the desire of the child. Point is, new birth is based, or any birth is based on previous karma, previous life that creates happiness and distress, which we call karma. Okay. And this clearance of the debt has to be done from whomever you have taken. You have to clear the debts. So a family is nothing but a transaction place. It is like a bank where giving and taking takes place. Family is transaction based. So let's not take it very seriously. Now you may say devotee. Yes, devotee we should take, because the goal, just like we started with what? Cooperation. They cooperate us to get us back to our spiritual destination. Now the point is, how do we stop this again and again coming back from one family to another? We have to stop the transaction first. Just like in bank, there is give and take. How do you stop the transaction? By focusing more on the responsibilities, or focusing more on how I can clear off the debts by serving the people with whom we are connected. Just like if the shopkeeper, he wants to close his shop for all time, what he has to do is to do two things. If he has anything which he has taken from somebody else, he has to give them back. He has to think of returning, how I can return that. And if something is pending from others to come to him, he is okay if it comes, he is okay even if it doesn't come. If the shopkeeper thinks I'll get everything back and then only I'll close my shop, means he's expecting, that means he is in no mood to close the shop, and the process will continuously go give, take, give, take, give. So if someone has taken from us, don't expect or don't desire that he should return it back. Don't go and ask from him. If it comes on its own accord, you can accept it. And the focus should be becoming free from the debt. One who still has desires, then he'll keep on continuing. He will keep on expecting. So one who still has desire should act in a way, action in an action. Action because why? There are desires, so he has to act. But how he should act? Being detached from the results. Means working to get free from the debt. Okay? Because in both sides there is action. One has to act, another he doesn't want to act but still is acting. But the mood of detachment matters. How? Thinking that if I do now, I'll get more in future. That is also the wrong mood. And some may think, now the transaction, we want to stop the transaction, so let's stop working. No, that is also not, because you may want to enjoy that relaxed life. That is also the wrong mood. So the best way to create detachment is by serving others. And that is why Prabhupada translates bhakti as a devotional service. When you hear Bhagavat, that is service to Bhagavat. When you chant, that is service to holy name. When you are in Tirtha, that is service to the Tirtha. When you are amongst the devotees, you are serving the devotees. All the 5 potent forms of devotional service are nothing but based on service. You do your part, something may come or not. And that is why the end shloka of Chaitanya Shikshastakam is what? Ashlishava Padartha. If you want, you love me. If you want, you don't love me. I will still keep serving you, because that is how the eternal relation functions. So these are some of the points that I thought of sharing with all of you. Thank you all for a kind and patient hearing. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Such amazing class, Prabhu. Very, very difficult topic, very touchy topic, but such amazing class, Prabhu. Certainly, chanting is the one thing that helps, Prabhu. Nothing else helps. Of course, Srila Prabhupada books and chanting is the one thing helps. And then, of course, devotee association like you and all this group helps. But certainly, Prabhu, then somebody passes away, our loved ones, especially when they pass away in a moment when it's not supposed to be, there is some kind of, disappointment, crying, oh, mom, dad, and all those relations. And My personal example is 4 years ago, Prabhu, I used to drink, and I was not a devotee at all. I'm still not a devotee. I think I'm still faking up, but I used to drink. I was not doing any dharmic or shastric thing. But 4 years ago, I was searching on YouTube. What is the purpose of the life? Why we are here? I used to ask that to my wife. Like every night, I used to ask her, like, why I'm here. I just need to work and one day die and go away. It doesn't make any sense to me. And one day I was searching on YouTube and I find our very dear His Grace Mogalila Prabhu's videos, and I was like, oh, this is why I'm here. And I actually I was in ISKCON earlier. You know, ISKCON is famous for Prashadam and Sunday feast. So and then I started reading, and it is a very long story, Prabhu. But Krishna was helping me from long time. And I used to cry, Prabhu, every night when I used to drink. Actually, 4 years ago, I used to cry about my mother. You know, what will happen when she will go away. But then this illusion certainly goes away with books of Srila Prabhupada, with Bhagavad Gita. And now, you know, I talk to my mom sometime. I tell her, when you will go away, can you talk to me when I'm chanting in our puja room? You can give me some sign, you know. And I'm so happy. One day everybody has to go away, certainly, Prabhu. But very subtle things, but they come with chanting. I think without chanting, we can't understand all this, Prabhu. And very, very beautiful class, Prabhu. And I love, Prabhu, your examples. Every time you come, you give examples from your own temple. That just shows you how involved you are in everyday activities with Krishna. And it's just so beautiful to listen those examples, because I think it's very difficult to see Krishna, but through the devotees, through the examples, it's very easy to see Krishna. It's very easy to see how his creation is working. So thank you so much, Prabhu. I can continue talking, but I think there are already a few hands raised. So we'll just go to the hand raised. Our very dear Anuradha Mataji is there. Hare Krishna, Anuradha Mataji.
I just wanted to add, just like you said, you used to drink.
Yes,
you are
Prabhu.
still drinking. You are drinking Bhagavad Rasamalai.
Yes, Prabhu.
So,
Thanks to Srila
in that sense,
Prabhupada.
you are continuing your previous habit, but the thing has
Thanks
changed.
to Srila Prabhupada. Thanks to Srila Prabhupada. We are so happy, and my family is so happy, and everybody is so happy. Thank you,
That's
Prabhu.
so nice. That's so nice. Grahastha means happy. Even if he's just happy, that's the very powerful preaching our Guru Maharaj always says.
Yes,
Happy
Prabhu.
Grahastha is the topmost preaching. There is no better preaching than that.
Yes, Prabhu. First, before Krishna consciousness, it was all about enjoying. Now it's all about serving. So the things has changed big time, Prabhu. So thanks, Prabhu. Thanks. Anuradha Mataji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for your wonderful services. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances on Gaur to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhu, do you have time?
Yes, Mataji, I have 5 more minutes and I'll push
Okay, I'll try to keep it short. I have more than one question. Prabhu. The first thing is, when you were saying it, like first you mentioned that how our relatives, the close relatives, are the one from whom we would have taken more and the further. That's what you said. And then immediately you went to the topic where, you know, as parents, our children should not take us for granted that this is my right. Are you getting where? What was the transition from this point to that, Prabhu? I missed that. Will you quickly mention? And I have a few more questions, Prabhu. So.
I spoke about 2 things, that is the rights and duties. So I transited it in a way where I connected it from shlokas from 6th chapter. How this happens? It happens because the connection with matter is more prominent. And when the connection with matter is more prominent, just like I gave the example of mobile or TV remote control. So that helps me give a feeling that I can do as I want. They are available for me anytime, and they are here for me. They are meant for me. That is how I transited. And then I came to the next shloka 6.9, where the 9 kind of people that we have to deal. But when this mindset, the person starts dealing with them, then there is even more suffering for him.
Okay, Prabhu, thank you. Then again, you stated this, you mentioned right now also, attachment to, for me, the question is matter versus spirit. And I will tell quickly, like 2 days back, my Prabhu was complaining about some prasadam or something. I said, that's why I like serving the deities, you know, they accept whatever I give and they don't complain. And then he said, yeah, because they are not replying back. If they reply back, he will fight with them also.
Yeah,
So
matter won't reply. Yeah, matter doesn't
Yes,
reply.
but then Krishna's deities are not matter, no Prabhu, they are spirits. So how do
Yeah,
we
but
distinguish?
but they are ready to accommodate whatever you cook.
Yes.
And once we asked this question to our seniors, what happens when Matajis who cook for the Lord in the temple, they forget to add salt or
Yeah.
pepper. So what happens then? He gave a very nice reply. He said Radharani is always there. When she feeds Krishna, she adds all those things, but she makes sure that the things come as it is when they come out. So that
Yeah.
addition is done by Radharani, and that is how Krishna happily accepts because Radharani is there.
So yes, that's so wonderful. I'll remember that, Prabhu. Thank you. So the attachment you said, so somebody had the attachment to the Jagannath Baldev Subhadramaya of someone else's. Like we are always in the around temple, we are always substituting other service, right, Prabhu? And then we know that we have to return the service back. So isn't it like missing Jagannath Baldev Subhadra? The attachment is much better than, or way better, or that's what we are supposed to be in that way, Prabhu, or does it hinder
Yeah,
our?
we are supposed that the ideal state. What you're saying is the ideal state. But see, in Karma Yoga section, a Karma Yogi is told to act continuously. Why? Because in the situation, he comes to understanding at what level is he functioning. So he's told to continuously work. That is why what you're speaking is the ideal state. And when he goes through that, he'll come to understanding, oh, this is how I have to progress even more. So both sides have to be seen.
So what should be the ideal state for a sadhaka? Talking for myself, new to Krishna consciousness, when we are returning the service back, or we are doing, substituting somebody else's service. What is the best?
That's what I mentioned. There are two roles. One is that of a proprietor, that it belongs to me just because I have served, but the other is caretaker. Okay, it belongs to somebody, and I have to be a caretaker till that person comes. Same thing has to be used by parents. The kids are not the property of the parents. Parents are not the proprietors of the kids. They are just caretakers. Till the time parents don't come to this role, suffering is guaranteed.
Okay. And one last thing, Prabhu, that will be useful, I'm sure, for many of us. We are having Sadhu Sangha, if you're aware of it. It's a big, big event, and all, including Radhanath Maharaj, Jayapataka Maharaj, all the Indradevna Maharaj, everybody is here, and it starts today. But this mood of enjoyment, yes, it's a big event. It's almost 3,000 devotees together, Prabhu. So yes, and then it's in Radha Kalachandji, Dallas, and then
Dallas.
Prabhu,
I've heard of it.
And the mood is from enjoyment. We are usually serving in the temple, but when I'm going there, in my mind, though I may not vocal say it out, that I want to enjoy these 3 days. It's a sadhu sangha. It's not exactly what it is, but I want to relax. How do I not have an enjoyment mentality, Prabhu? How do I be a devotee in these 3 days?
Enjoyment mentality will not go away, because that's a natural part of the jiva also. See, when you serve, along with service, that enjoyment will come. We give this famous example of Daruk. Daruk was fanning Krishna and he's serving Krishna, but at the same time he's enjoying because the tears are coming. Oh, my Lord is so sweet. So they both go together. In Brahma Vimohan Leela, if you read that Krishna book chapter, Brahma Vimohan Leela, Prabhupada mentions it, that Brahmaji was enjoying the beauty of Krishna. So when you serve Krishna, Krishna will allow you to access that beauty which you are supposed to relish, which you are supposed to enjoy. Point is accessibility.
So I should not feel guilty of having these 3 days.
Why? Why? And our master is so sweet. Why feel guilty?
Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please give your association more often. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Very beautiful questions. And thank you, Prabhu. Such a beautiful answer. All the answers were so amazing, Prabhu. We should just have to make points of those. Thank you.
Can take one last question, Prabhu, then we'll end.
One last question. Okay, Prabhuji, as you say. Hare Krishna, Krishnai, Mataji, Dhanava Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Pranam, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, you said that action and inaction, the karma, akarma and karma. So that is it comes in our bhakti yoga process as well, that that conception, Prabhuji?
Yeah, I gave example of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, there was no need for Prabhupada to come out of Vrindavan, but to preach Krishna's message, he left that comfort zone, came to West, and this is how Krishna consciousness spread all over the world.
But that was it the I don't I believe that unka jo his spiritual mother Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur instructed him for preaching in the Western world, and that's
हम्म
what, and that
हाँ
was
तो
he was.
वो यस यस यू आर राइट वो उनके लिए इम्पिटस बना ना वो करने के लिए वो चाहते तो आराम से रह सकते थे ना बट वो नहीं रहे वो अंदर से जो उनके गुरु महाराज ने उनको इंस्ट्रक्शन दिया था वो उनको कंटिन्यूअसली पुश कर रहा था तो कर्म में कर्म का मतलब वही होता है ना वो व्यक्ति को कर्म करने की जरूरत नहीं है बट फिर भी दूसरों के कल्याण के लिए वो अपने कंफर्ट जोन को छोड़कर दूसरों के लिए कार्य करता
और फिर प्रभु जी आपने एक बोला है कि प्रभुपाद जब उनका जो देह छोड़ रहे थे तो उनका डिसाइपल ने पूछा श्रीला प्रभुपाद आपको कोई डिजायर है कि नहीं, तो श्रीला प्रभुपाद ने बोले कि नहीं और कोई डिजायर नहीं है। तो
माता जी, sorry to interrupt, but can you speak in English?
Okay, Mataji. So the Srila Prabhupada like so he's like, because he was a pure devotee of Lord Sri Krishna, so he knew something that he is not desire for any bhakti yoga desire, because bhakti yoga
Prabhupada is
desire
a pure devotee. He has everything. He doesn't need anything. He came to give.
he came to
Okay.
give.
Yeah, he came to give. He already had everything. He had Krishna. So what else can a person need when who has Krishna with him?
So, and also Prabhuji, like we got, some people also say that through our Shastra, we also can know about what was the present situation. So how do you know what Shastra is saying? So how can you say that? How do you know through the Shastra? Is it possible to know what is the present condition of, because also say the previous karma, because of previous karma's life, we got the presence, and back we also see the devotion, bhakti yoga process also presence in our life. So how we understand why this is a process is like so many things is there. So many people also ask, I heard that they want to know that what is Shastra says about it.
Shastra says about what?
Shastra says about it like what is the present like.
Okay. For that we have entered another science which we call astrology. By astrology we can understand what we have done in our past life. Just like we have blood test. By blood test you can understand what are the components which are reduced or which are increased. So
But so
similarly by
many,
astrology it becomes easy.
no, but the devotee also but the devotee say we don't need to talk about the astrology, because astrology they are doing something, but we can
No, astrology is a bona fide science. It is not something. It is a proper
no,
bona fide science.
but from the devotees I heard, Prabhu, that they said Shastra also says about the previous life. Even the senior devotees like you also may be able to say, Prabhuji
आप
that
हिंदी में
what
बताइए माता जी फिर वो समझना
I mean,
मैं अंग्रेजी में आंसर
अच्छा,
कर दूं
अच्छा। No, जो प्रीवियस लाइफ के वजह से जो कर्मा होते हैं प्रेजेंट लाइफ का जो होते हैं, अभी देखा
हम्म
जाए कि जो स्ट्रगलिंग हमारे चल रहा है और भक्ति भी
हम्म
कर रहा है,
हम्म
पूरी तरह से नहीं, इनिशिएटिव भी अभी नहीं हुए हैं,
हम्म
तो
हम्म
मगर भक्ति संगम में आते हैं तो डिवोटी का बात सुनते हैं, तो मगर बहुत कुछ समझ में नहीं आते हैं, मगर कभी कभी थोड़ा बहुत समझ में आते हैं, तो
हाँ
कहते हैं कि,
बराबर है
तो बोलते हैं कि अगर हम जानना चाहते हैं कि प्रीवियस जन्म में मैंने क्या किया ऐसा, क्या मैंने
हम्म
क्या पाप किया, मैंने कैसा पाप किया कि इस जन्म में ऐसा हो रहा है, और मेरे जो हो रहा है, फिर मैं देखती हूँ मेरे अगर भगवान ने एक मेरा लड़का दिए है और
हम्म
मैंने भगवान के तरफ से मैं उसको देखभाल कर रही थी, कुछ एक समय तक। तो मैं अभी तो मैं ऐसे भी नहीं देख सकती कि हाँ मैं भक्ति करूं, मेरा लड़का का क्या हुआ, मुझे इसका क्या फर्क पड़ता है। भगवान तो क्योंकि भगवान तो जो मेरा एक लड़का दिया उसका तो मेरा भी तो कुछ बनता है कि इसको भी मैं कुछ भक्ति की पथ में आ जाए। तो मैं ऐसे छोड़ भी नहीं उसको, मैं वो जो टॉपिक है वो उसको मैं कुछ भी कर भी नहीं सकती और छोड़ भी नहीं सकती। तो इसको मैं क्या क्या बोलते हैं, जो हमारा शास्त्र क्या बोलते हैं।
हाँ, तो वो पॉइंट हमने कवर किया ना माता जी। देखिए, अगर आपका बेटा, इफ योर सन, you feel that he should become a devotee, point is, does his, see, he came to you because you had certain transactions which are incomplete, पहली बात। ओके, तो वो जो ट्रांजैक्शन है वो कर्मा बेस्ड है। दूसरी बात, वो कर्मा बेस्ड होने के कारण, इफ दे आर ऑल कर्मा बेस्ड, सो इफ according to his karma, if he doesn't have the sukruti by which he'll be able to practice devotional service, how much ever you try, he'll not become a devotee. So making him a devotee is not your domain. वो आपके हाथ में नहीं है। आपके हाथ में क्या है? What is your control? You help him, you train him properly, give him good understanding, and if he becomes a devotee, it is Krishna's mercy. Otherwise, you cannot make him a devotee.
मगर
Just
प्रभु
because you are his mother, or your husband is his father, doesn't mean you have come to devotional service. He should come to devotional service. That is
नो
nowhere a compulsion.
नो बट वो भी होते हैं ना, क्योंकि हम विदेश में रहते हैं तो वो भी होते हैं कि बहुत कुछ शास्त्र के माध्यम से होते नहीं है। जो शास्त्र बोलते हैं थोड़ा बहुत भगवत में बोलते, बहुत सारा लगता है कि जो कली युग में कोई गॉड बिलीव भी नहीं करते, तो बहुत कुछ होता है। तो क्या कृष्णा को तो बिलीव करते ही है, शिला प्रभुपाद तो बात को भी बिलीव करते हैं। तो भाई इतना उलट पलट हो रहा है कि
हाँ, तो
कलयुग
वो
का।
ऑलरेडी बताया है ना, शास्त्र में ऑलरेडी बताया कि क्या क्या होने वाला है। शास्त्र आर ऑलरेडी वेरी क्लियर। ओनली थिंग इज, वी हैवंट read all Prabhupada books, that is why we are confused. For those who have read Prabhupada books, where is the confusion? Bhagavad 12th canto is very clear what will happen in Kali Yuga. वो कोई haphazard थोड़ी हो रहा है, सारी चीजें तो ऑलरेडी दी गई है ना।
तो बोलते हैं कि एस्ट्रोलॉजी जो वो तो हम लोग नहीं जाते, क्योंकि हम लोग शिला प्रभुपाद के भक्ति प्रोसेस में रहते हैं और भक्ति की बात सुनते, वही हमारा बिलीफ है, विश्वास है। तो उसमें हम
देखो,
तो
आप
हम
एस्ट्रोलॉजर के पास जाओ या न जाओ, एस्ट्रोलॉजर के पास जाने का मतलब क्या है? यू जस्ट गेट अ अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि व्हाट वेंट रॉन्ग इन योर पास्ट लाइफ। एस्ट्रोलॉजर विल नॉट चेंज योर कर्मा, भक्ति विल चेंज योर रिएक्शंस ऑफ योर कर्मा, और आपका डेस्टिनेशन चेंज कर सकता है। कर्मानि निर्दहति किंतु च भक्ति भाई, ओनली भक्ति।
प्रभु
एस्ट्रोलॉजर खाली क्या बोलेगा? ये पाप हो गया, वो पाप हो गया, इतना ही बोलेगा, वो बाकी कुछ नहीं बोलेगा।
प्रभु जी वन ऑफ द लेक्चर हमने यहाँ पर सुने थे कि
पता ये
एस्ट्रोलॉजी।
और दूसरे डिवोटीज को दे, क्योंकि ये
अच्छा
टॉपिक फिर
सॉरी
चलता
सॉरी
ही
सॉरी,
रहेगा।
हाँ हाँ सॉरी
ओके,
सॉरी।
ओके।
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
एनीबॉडी एल्स हैव?
I think our
कृष्ण
Shama Gauri
प्रभु जी,
Mataji.
दंडवत प्रणाम।
हाँ, यस माता जी, दंड।
दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी, आपको जी। Very nice class, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you were talking about Abhimanyu and his father, and I didn't understand who's Abhimanyu and who's his father. And
Abhimanyu is Somadev's son. Okay, when we hear this in 10th canto, when all the demigods went to Shvetadip with Lord Brahma, and Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu tells them that all the demigods, you come to the families of Yaduvamsha, or the devotees of Krishna. So the demigods actually didn't come, they sent their partial representations. माने उनका एक विस्तारित रूप वो भेजते हैं, and that is where Abhimanyu comes into picture. So he is there for a purpose. So Somdev's representative was Abhimanyu.
oh,
Chandra जो है, his son is Abhimanyu.
okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, here is one last question. Prabhuji, is Maya under control of Lord? Yes, she is absolutely 100% under control of Krishna. She won't do anything which Krishna will not tell. Okay, so she is 100% under control. But those who don't accept Krishna, then she 100% controls that. person. Okay. So thank you all so much for allowing me to speak something on Srimad Bhagavatam. Kindly
Thank
excuse
you
me
so
if
much, Prabhuji.
I have
Thank
spoken
you.
something beyond my realizations and if something has hurt your emotions. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It was very beautiful class. It's just our chanting and the time that will make us understand many things. So thank you so much for your class, Prabhu. Please give your association again in the future. Dear devotees, let us pay our obeisances to Prabhuji. Vancha kalaptaru
I
basheta
can. Hare
kripa
Krishna.
sindhu bhayevacha.
Yes, the picture is complete now.
Lalita Mataji and Dinabandhu Prabhuji.
I was waiting for both of them.
Yes, yes.
Seeing them is a great pleasure for me. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam
Hare
ki
Krishna.
jai.
Jai.
Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ji ki
Ki
jai.
jai.
His great Prabhu ji ki jai.
Kumar Prabhupada ki
Mataji.
jai.